Journalists looking to censor a politician. Shocking, but true. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. If I told you there was a group out there called Canadian Journalists for Free Expression, you would naturally think this would be a group that's in favor of free expression, right? Now, what if I told you there is a group called Canadian Journalists for Free Expression that's actually looking to censor an elected official from speaking out on matters important to her and her constituents because this group doesn't like what she says? It's a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it? It doesn't add up. I've always thought being a defender of free expression would mean that you stand up for things even if you disagree with them. So what's going on here? Well, the politician in question is a longtime Conservative MP from Ontario, Cheryl Gallant. Now, Cheryl is not well liked by media party types. In fact, I'd say some hate her, others ridicule her, but that doesn't matter because Cheryl Gallant is well loved by her constituents. She's been elected 6 times by the people of Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke, people that don't seem to care too much what the nattering nabobs of negativism have to say in the media party. And for the last while, Cheryl, and yes, I call her by her first name because I've covered her as a local and national reporter for 15 years, and well, you go up the Ottawa Valley, that's what people call her. For the last while, Cheryl has been speaking directly to her constituents through videos posted to her website and Facebook page. She's been going around the media, and in her last one, she actually blasted the media for their coverage of Omar Khadr.
Whether it's the Toronto Star, CBC, Globe and Mail, CTV, or even the National Post, editorialists and columnists have been tripping over themselves in the rush to justify Justin's payout to Khadr. They've been working overtime trying to media-splain why you should zip it and just accept the payout. They brought out fake news story after fake news story. They claimed it was all somehow Harper's fault.
Oh, poor wee journalist. She called them fake news. So bad, so nasty. Look, I would think that if it was directed at you, you'd simply do what I do. You let it roll off your back. Let me tell you, if you're in the media business, you need to have a thick skin or find another job. Doesn't matter which outlet you work at, you're going to be blasted by somebody. But the group Canadian Journalists for Free Expression was so hurt by this that they've actually written to the Speaker of the House of Commons to ask him to shut Cheryl down, and they even compared her to Nazis and to the current dictatorship in Egypt. What? Now, if you know Godwin's law, then you know the first person to invoke Hitler or the Nazis loses the argument. So that should tell you something about their argumentative skills. But beyond denouncing her videos and her comments, they want her to apologize. Let me read to you from their website. CGFE calls on Ms. Gallant to acknowledge the pressing risk her statements make to Canadian democracy and to apologize to Canadians for her unabashed attack on democratic foundations. You know what else is a democratic foundation? Even more important than the media, allowing politicians, our parliamentarians, to be able to speak their minds without thin-skinned journalists demanding apologies because they don't like the opinion they just heard. Now, here's the part where they actually call for outright censorship. We further call on the Speaker of the House of Commons, the Honourable Jeff Regan, to review Ms. Gallant's purported use of her parliamentary office to produce this independent media endeavour, as well as to work with relevant bodies to determine whether funding for the production was procured in accordance with parliamentary ethics procedures. Finally, CJFE calls for the term fake news to be added to the officially recognised list of unparliamentary language contained in Buchanan Parliamentary Rules and Forms. Unparliamentary language means it's a banned word or phrase. I can't believe this. A group that says they're devoted to free expression wants the Speaker of the House of Commons, a man with a huge amount of power over MPs and their working lives, to stop an MP from communicating with their constituents. And they want banned words. Banned words. What's really funny is they want MPs banned from saying fake news, but this is a group that spends an awful lot of time talking about and labeling fake news. So who's behind this group? What are they all about? I'll admit I don't know a whole lot about them. I've never been a member, probably never will be, but here's what I can tell you. They've got a spotty record on actually standing up for free expression. They did come to the defense of the Rebel when Rachel Notley kicked Sheila Gunn Reid out of a news conference and when the UN tried to ban Sheila from the UN Climate Conference. But they also sent a truck with a billboard message on it to the Rebel Live event protesting what was being said without even going inside to listen. They came out fully in favor of M103. And they're very concerned, it seems, about our security agencies being closed off from prying eyes. But I'm not hearing them jump up and down over a Prime Minister and a PMO that shuts out journalists and even threatens them as they did to a Globe reporter that dared to ask unscheduled questions. PMO official Michael McNair bullying the reporter at a urinal. Here's the quote from the Globe: "But not everyone is happy. When the Prime Minister is gone, his policy director, Michael McNair, approaches me in the men's washroom. He looks upset. That was kind of bullshit," he says. Before making his way to the urinal, he tells me I shouldn't have asked the Prime Minister questions or recorded the answers. The Globe should consider its relationship with the government before using the quotes, he says. A media outlet has to consider their relationship with the government? I've never heard them make noise about that or make much noise about Trudeau and his cabinet going to Davos and shutting out Canadian media from the events, or going to Niagara and speaking to American outlets like Live with Kelly and Ryan, but only allowing Canadian reporters access to carefully staged photo ops while turning down interview requests from local media. I think Canadian journalists for free expression should be more concerned about that than what an MP wants to say to her constituents. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, whatever you want to call it, it's constantly under threat from people that want to use the state in one way or another to shut down views they don't like. We need groups that are going to stand up against this inclination. What we don't need is a group that claims to defend free expression, deciding they actually want to become the new censors. If you like the Rebel video you just watched, make sure you never miss another one. Again, click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel.